Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 192. And it is Wednesday, and that means it's time for a Wednesdays with Skep show. How are you doing, Skep?
Oh, I'm doing very well today. I hope you're having a good day.
I am. I am still hurting a bit, so you may hear my lighter clicking away, but I'm other
What
than
passes
that.
for analgesia up north of the border? Um, Now you have back pain it's been diagnosed, but not for a long time, right?
Well, it's been like basically acknowledged by my doctors.
Yeah.
It's been like, okay, you have back pain. Um my
When the state
original
provides health care, you don't get a diagnosis as much as you get a negotiation.
yeah. I haven't found out why I have back pain.
Right.
I know the causes of it.
Yeah.
Like I can pinpoint the causes, but I can't tell you exactly what is affected.
Yeah, that's unfair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. I hope we can make enough fun of the world today to take your mind off it, and uh, just laughing at the world is helps me when I get down in the dumps. I look at the world and I think, you know, there's enough absurdity and enough silliness in the world where I can at least just stand there and try and point it out a little bit and make myself feel better.
Oh, you want to talk absurdity? I opened Facebook this morning, which is
What
always a bad idea.
I was just going to say, what that's like opening Pandora's box. What
Um,
what did you discover?
so I discover a post from a blind mom
Yes.
that says her child lost his first tooth yesterday with all sorts of red heart emojis.
Okay. That's
Her
a
child
normal post.
her child's 20 months old.
Do what?
Yeah, not even 2 yet.
Um.
So
Okay. So what's going on
a
here?
bunch of her family and friends start commenting going, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You need to take him to the dentist and see
Roger.
what's going on.
Exactly.
So, and just before the stream, I checked to see if she had commented because when I had seen what the post the first time, she had not yet responded to any of the comments,
Yeah.
and she kept responding. Because people are asking, did it break? Like, did he chew on something?
Right.
Did it break?
What did it hit?
And she's like, oh no, it just fell out. And
No, it didn't,
so
lady.
someone goes, you need to take him to the dentist. And I shit you not, she goes, why?
She did not.
Oh, she did.
Whoa.
And then
Just you know.
somebody else was like, that's not normal, honey. You need to take him to the dentist. And she's like, honestly, like she goes, I have to book him a dentist appointment anyways, but honestly, I'm not too worried about it because it's gonna fall out eventually anyway, lol.
LOL. It fell out for one of two reasons. It fell out because of trauma,
Yeah.
because of impact, or because of malnutrition.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it could be there's some disease that can cause it, but they're real. That's real atypical with newborns. I mean, not newborns, but with babies. A 20-month-old should not be losing teeth.
No.
That's really disturbing that the mother is she seems to be in denial. She's afraid. Maybe she's afraid. I hope that this is what it is. She's afraid it's serious, and she'll get it looked at and have it figured out. What I'm really concerned is that she's going out and shopping for approval or
Yeah.
shopping for forgiveness, and not forgiveness, but uh, uh, you know, absolution,
Mm,
shopping for absolution. What
yeah.
she's doing, because what has happened is the boyfriend hit the kid because the kid wouldn't shut up, right? And so the
Mm,
tooth came out, and mom saw the tooth come out and is kind of freaked out, and now is saying, "Oh, look, a tooth came out. Oh, baby lost first tooth." Yeah, 20 months. Somebody hit that kid, or there's something wrong with that kid. In either case, the kid needs to get in front of a dentist, or a doctor. Either one looks for child abuse.
yeah.
Dentists diagnose child abuse more often than doctors do. Did you know that?
Your teeth
Interesting.
tell you tons about what's going on with you.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing is kids talk to dentists, and
Yeah.
kids talk to the staff of dentists. But yeah, the teeth also tell a tale, and teeth are like seismic records of impacts. I mean, they don't get well. So, if boyfriend hit the baby, or mom hit the baby, uh, that's going to get known when the baby goes to see the dentist. The dentist will know within 1 minute of examining that child if that child has been hit,
Yeah.
if that tooth loss was result of an impact. Wow, what a horrible thing.
Well, and it's driving me crazy because, and I, what I'm thinking to myself is, you're already gonna get a shit ton of questions if you are any parent.
Do you know her name?
I do, but I'm not gonna put it out.
No, 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 not on the air. Oh God,
No.
no, 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 no.
Um.
I'm not suggesting that. Not suggesting that at
But
all.
I do know her name.
Um, is it worth going directly to her and saying, um, "I need to know that you've gotten this child in front of a medical professional"?
I don't know her that well. Like, it's just more of like a.
Do you know somebody who does know her that well?
I have to ask some of the other blind moms that I know. Somebody
Yeah,
might.
man, I would. Well, I mean, you use your own judgment. That it's just driving me crazy because the thought of a kid getting hit, I'm just overreacting to it.
Well, what drives me crazy is that
You're a grown up. You
as
can
a
take
sighted
it.
parent, you're
Yeah.
gonna get questioned
Yes.
already if
Yep.
you bring in a toddler with a lost tooth.
Right.
Okay, you add blindness into there,
Hmm.
you may as well hand them over to CPS.
Yep.
And the
Agree.
fact that she doesn't fucking get that, and the fact that most of us as blind parents have had to either have CPS directly involved with us, or we've had to, like me, um, call them out right when they call me on the first place and basically tell them to fuck off.
Right.
Um,
Because there's almost a presumption that you're an
they're
unfit parent.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then she's doing this bullshit. Oh, look at my toddler lost his first tooth. Ha 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 ha. Fuck Jesus Christ, lady.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it easier for the state to go, oh, look, blind parents are fucking retards.
Well, yeah. In fairness to her, she's probably dumb enough that's not even in her mind. She's never had a thought requiring that much introspection in her life. She just
Yeah.
doesn't think that deeply. To her, it's, something has happened. Whatever has happened has happened. The interesting thing is, why did she talk about it online? I don't get that.
I don't either. I have a feeling that this is more of a malnutrition thing. Like, because you hear of people giving, like, stupid people who are like, oh, look at this baby. Let's give him pop in a bottle.
Yeah,
You
and
know
then
what I
they've
mean?
got
Like,
scurvy, basically.
oh,
which is
Fuck, that
that's what,
drives me insane.
which is the. I mean, it's almost impossible to have scurvy in our society these days, but you can do it if you put your mind to it. If you
Yeah.
really eat horribly,
If you try really hard.
yeah, you can avoid vitamin C. You can avoid ascorbic acid or any other forms of available vitamin C, and you know, um, it, it just is astonishing. Anyway, what a shame. What a shame. And there's probably not that much you can do about it. Um, you know, what is chat saying about it? We should say hello to chat.
Hell, yes, we should. We've got Check Your Logic, and we've got Irate Prostate.
Hey, Rate, how you doing, bud?
We got a Cyber Taz. We've got
Little niggers there.
we've got
Seamus and
Seamus
Goatman.
and Goatman. Hello.
Cybertaz. I mean, you may have already said Mr. Misanthropic is there also, and Denny Crane. We got a bunch of folks
Johnny
today.
Hellcat, I believe, is also here.
Yeah, I saw Johnny Hellcat somewhere back upstream. So anyway, it's nice to see everybody. Thanks for checking in with us here on the coffee
Yes.
stream.
I appreciate it because there's a bunch of people covering the congressional hearing on Facebook and all of that. So I do appreciate those of you who have come to watch us instead of Sinatra and all of that. Yeah. I'm competing with Sinatra Says right now. So that's
Jolly Rogers Builds Water. Welcome. Nice to see you, bud.
Hi.
And well, we've got a good bunch who are loyal followers of you and your stream and your attitude in all the subjects that we like to pay attention to over here on the coffee stream. And we're not politically unaware either. You know, we understand about Congress, and there's this debate thing tonight too. I guess it's going to be Elizabeth Warren and the Seven Dwarves. It's like Elizabeth Warren is the only one on tonight, I think, who is polling above 5 or 6%. Let me see who's on the debate tonight. Debate.
Cog is streaming too, says Irate Prostate. Oh, fuck.
You can't win for losing. Did you have Cog on Monday?
I
missed
did.
Monday stream completely.
I did, and it was amazing.
Okay,
we had a great time.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got Elizabeth Warren tonight. Beta O'Rourke. Okay, who's polling a solid 3%.
That's why Irate said it's Punk Rock Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Cory Booker, who is also at 3%. Amy Klobuchar, who is 1%.
I've never even heard of her.
Yeah, exactly. And but the other one is let's see, who else will be there's I think it's the first night. The lineup for Wednesday night is Bill de Blasio, City Marion, Ohio Rep Tim Ryan. Tim who? Exactly. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro.
Who?
Exactly. New Jersey Senator, the ultimately corrupt and absolutely insane Cory Booker, who polls solidly at 3%. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, the one person who is over 5%. She's polling at like 8%.
Oh, good on her. She can't even break 10. Jesus Christ.
Beta O'Rourke, who used to be a Texas representative, Beta is now polling at 3% and falling. Amy Klobuchar, who is not polling at all. She's not even polling 1%, not even polling 1/10 of 1%.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. But she's
That's
from
so
Minnesota
funny.
and she's a chick. So there you go.
Mr. Misanthropic says, did you guys see that Trump's going to be live tweeting the debates?
Oh, that
Twitter is going to be
God, that might be some insane. That might be must see TV. Actually, must see tweet.
that
Hawaii,
might give us some fodder for minions, actually.
yeah, truly, and you'll be there on the show tonight,
I
right?
will indeed.
10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern on the Minions channel
Link in the
tonight with
description.
link in the description with Skep and his bevy of amazing minds. Um, Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard, okay, who's coming
What?
in? This Tulsi, yeah, solid 2%. Washington Governor Jay Inslee, who is polling at almost 1%, and former Maryland Representative John Delaney.
Okay,
Who?
so
Really?
none of these people have even gotten up to 50%
Oh no 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 no! Oh no no no!
together.
No no! Together seriously, all these the total of these is probably 25%,
Yeah.
20 to about 25% of the total vote. And then, tomorrow night, it's a little bit different. Tomorrow night, we have Marianne Williamson. I know. She's an author and activist, Marianne Williamson. And why is she on? Just because she's an author and activist, Marianne Williamson. Okay, then we also have former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper. Now, Hickenlooper, he's kind of a gadfly. He'll be fun to watch.
I'm sorry. His name is
I know
Hickenlooper.
I'm President Hickenlooper. Never going to happen. Uh, Andrew Yang is going to be on tomorrow night, and that actually will be interesting because he's a brilliant and good guy. He is a good heart. I disagree with him about everything, but he's a good-hearted man. He's a good. I
Yeah.
mean, if you were going to have a Democratic president, he's the only one I would unreservedly say, he would do a good job for his side. Then there's South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Okay. And then there's creepy Joe Biden, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, the communist, Kamala Harris, a
Ugh.
California senator, who basically has gone full communist. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who is not polling at all. She's not polling either.
That's because she's evil.
Kirsten Gillibrand is truly she is she's a political whore who gives political whores bad name. And then Colorado Senator Michael Bennett. I lived in Colorado. I don't even know who this guy is. And then California Representative Eric Swallowwell, who basically his claim to fame is he's a fat white man, who it just looks like a greasy. He looks greasy. I mean, he looks like shiny greasy. He looks like he is coated with grease. And so there you go. We have Swallowwell, Bennett, Gillibrand, Harris, Sanders, Biden, Buttigieg, Yang, Hickenlooper, and someone named Marianne
I'm
Williamson,
sorry,
who's
but
just sort of a rando.
the Democrats why do they have to pick people with these names? Like,
I know.
why?
Buttigieg,
Why?
Buttigieg hit the Buttigieg Hickenlooper ticket.
Yes.
I mean, you'd sort of love it, wouldn't you?
I would. I almost want those two to win just so they can be fucking running mate and president nominees. Like,
Marianne Williamson was a wellness guru.
oh boy.
She wrote How to Live Forever, The Shadow Effect, and stuff like that. She
Because that's what we need in the in government. A wellness guru.
Yeah, exactly. A course in weight loss.
A life coach.
Yeah, right. A woman's worth. The Illuminata, a return to love, the whole thing. Ba- Basically, she's an affable, friendly con person. There's nothing wrong with that. Con men are, there's a great tradition of them in America, particularly in politics. I don't have any problem at all with her being, a nominee for president. But I don't want her to be president. She'd be a disaster.
Mm,
She is not an adult, not at all. That's the other thing, is that when you go through there and you say, who are the adults? Do we have adults there? And essentially, you don't have a lot of adults.
no.
De Blasio is a Richie Rich. Okay, he was he did not start he did not mature past about the eighth grade. Tim Ryan is a nobody. We don't even know who he is. So is Julian Castro. Cory Booker is an actual psychotic. I truly believe that that guy has broken with reality and is off in his own land. He will scare too many people to be elected. Even as vice president, he will be
Yeah.
poisoned. He's just being, he's getting the polite treatment because he's black.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren is a complete and total wisp in the wind. She'll simply do whatever the prevailing political wind is. It's almost like she's not even there. And with she is like the generic Democratic candidate, electing her.
Yeah.
Truly. Beta is, he's nothing, and people are realizing that even Democrats have too much self-respect to elect him. Amy Klobuchar is,
Another no name.
another no name. Tulsi Gabbard is actually a pretty good person, but has no chance. I don't know who Washington Governor Jay Hensley is. Why are you here? Why did you come to this debate? So, anyway, and former Maryland Representative John Delaney, who is running, why? Why? So,
Did
uh,
you? I came downstairs to set up, and Pincalo had stopped in just to like take like pit stop, and
yeah,
he was listening to the congressional stuff,
yeah.
and apparently one of the people representing Facebook and all of them is Mr. Pickles. No joke, Mr. Pickles.
Who is, wait,
He's a
representing who, how?
I think he's speaking on I can't remember how Pincalo phrased it, but he was speaking on behalf of or in favor of Facebook and Instagram and Google, I believe, and their censorship. And he's a British guy, and his name is Mr. Pickles, which made me think for some reason of Mr. Bigglesworth. No, not the cartoon dog, Cybertaz. I know exactly why you would think that, but
Okay, so Matt Getz is saying to Mr. Pickles, Mr. Pickles, is it your testimony that Twitter is an interactive computer server pursuant to Section 230? All right.
so blah 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 blah. Congressional crap.
Yes, this
But
is
there's literally a guy in
Nick Pickles.
testifying before Congress with the last name of Pickles.
Nick Pickles. Nicholas Pickles. Okay, there you go. Mr. Pickles. All right. Anyway, so there you go. It's kind of an interesting day in the electoral process and in the censorship of social media process, all for our own good.
Yes, it's all for our own good, comrade.
It is, I got to thinking about, why is this happening now? And it dawned on me, it's because they can. It
Yeah.
it's 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 the old thing. They have this tool that they suddenly realize they can, a lot of people have a lot of freedom to put their speech out there and have it go all around the world. And as soon as you have that freedom, there's going to be a group of people who say, let's control that.
Yep.
Let's improve that. Okay. Some of the things those people are saying make me cross, make me mad. And I'm in a position where I can control the mechanisms by which those people project their voices around the world to where I can limit the scope of their influence. And because I believe their thoughts are bad or evil or scary or whatever, or intimidating, or I just disagree with them,
Yeah.
I'm going to take those steps that are now available to me to limit that newfound freedom. And the people with the newfound freedom hate that because freedom feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to have people to hate. And that's the other thing. I keep wanting to bring this up on stream. I finally remembered to bring it up. Do you mind if I
Of
just do
course.
a micro rant here?
Of course.
It's fun to have people to hate. It's fun to have a group of people to feel superior to.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can look throughout history and say, white men have been on top throughout history, and there's a lot of bad things that have happened throughout history. Therefore, white men are responsible for all the ills of the world. You know, there it just follows. It's obvious. It's a straightforward thing. You can see very easily that the people who were in charge were white men, and when white men were in charge, bad things happened. Slavery happened. The Native Americans died of smallpox. The colonization of the countries in Africa and India and China and all around the world, all through Asia and South America happened, and those countries were ruined by the influence of uh, white males and their roads and their medicines and their technical innovations and their television, their communications, their automobiles. They despoiled those happy people who were living to a ripe old age of 30 years old and dying of dysentery
Mm.
in their own filth. White men with his sewer systems and his sanitation, and his surgery and his hospitals and his food and his, you know, ability to mitigate natural disasters and modern firefighting techniques and, all those evil things that he does came in and destroyed those people's lives. When back in Wakanda days, life was good. Life was good in
But
Wakanda.
not even that. It's like the thing that drives me crazy is that there were some extremely prosperous times for leaders who were white. Like, oh, I don't know. The Persians.
Yeah.
Um
But technically, they were white because they were prosperous and they did white things. So we want to hate them. So we're going to make them white in our minds. See how it works? You can justify hate, you can justify anything
Yeah.
as long as you have hate as a motivator because it's fun to hate. It's fun to feel superior. It gives you a dopamine hit, and it helps with your frustrations. It makes you feel secure and happy. It feels like pushing back against the man.
Yeah.
It's the answer to frustration. It truly is.
Weird. I just discovered I have about a 2-inch scratch on right beside my eye. I hate when
That's
that
it.
happens.
Sounds like a kid a fingernail wound.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That I can remember.
That's what it
Uh,
feels like too.
that used to happen to me. I used to get get them. You know, you just feel on my face, and I'd feel something wet, and it would be blood. It'd be from the little razors on the ends of my children's fingers.
And
Uh,
you'd be like, didn't I just cut those?
yeah, that was the other
Like
thing. Yes,
yesterday?
right, exactly. You feel like that's your job is cutting fingernails. That's all you do is cut fingernails. And I remember at one point I had 2 children and 5 dogs, and I felt like I cut way more than my share of fingernails.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, so that's kind of my rant on hate. That's all this stuff about purity and wanting to make the world a better place. That's mostly crap. It's mostly an excuse to find somebody to hate, to feel good and superior about something. That's what most of these social justice warriors and these SJWs who need their safe spaces and uh, need to hate somebody like President Trump. They just want to feel better than
Yep.
he is. They just want the world to know that they would never stoop to the evil level that he does. He's evil and they're not, and they want the world to know it. That's really where a lot of the hate of Trump comes from.
Methink they doth protest too much.
Oh, absolutely. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone. But you know, anyway, be that uh, as it may, I was going through some stuff, and I found an interesting story that archaeologists have discovered the uh, the the ancient predecessor of a 2,000-pound prototype of the early feminists
Oh God.
called a hell pig, and also called the Intellidont. It's a horse-sized, quote, hell pig whose teeth were as thick as a human wrist. Weighing it at 2,000 pounds and sporting arm-sized fangs, the Intellidont, or feminist, earned its status as the hell pig in prehistoric North America. You've
Damn.
likely never heard of the Intellidont, an extinct species seemingly summoned from the depths of hell. Indeed, the extinct creature is commonly referred to as a hell pig or prototypical feminist, and with good reason. The species had a long, wide jaw of a crocodile, replete with a mouth full of teeth. It had a face studded with thick bones for protection in a fight, and a stocky frame, often rounded into a hump, not to mention a demonic cloven hooves.
Mm.
Really does sound like a feminist. The largest genus of Intellidont, known as Daedon, could grow up to be 2,000 pounds. Aptly named, Daedon comes from the word daiso for hostile or dreadful, which, as we know, feminists are both of those, hostile and dreadful.
So was it a species of
Yeah,
like pig or
yeah. Think of something that is the size of a horse, built like a pig, except with the long legs of a horse, with sharp, razor sharp cloven hooves, okay, and a crocodile, uh, well, almost a triceratops, not triceratops, almost a T Rex type of head, just
weird?
studded with teeth. Yeah, just in a meat eating mouth. This thing was nastiness. This thing was like velociraptors would chase off velociraptors.
Weird.
This
So
is
this is a prehistoric North America. So this would be like the thing that would kill a mammoth or something like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
right? Like
absolutely. This it would be like a faculty member of McGill or Oberlin. And today they only live in nightmares the terrifying beast went extinct between 19 and 16 million years ago. Um, and they,
Wow.
they
That's
spread.
terrifying.
They started out in Mongolia. They spread to Europe and even to North America, and it existed for about 30 million years. They have,
Damn.
um, and then even the smallest ones were the size of an adult male deer, and the largest were about the size of a Clydesdale horse.
Oh my god.
So they were just, imagine a crocodile that could run like a Clydesdale horse with razor sharp hooves.
No, thank you.
this,
I'd
this
rather
thing,
face a regular crocodile.
yeah, the it's just um yeah, it's just bad stuff. They they probably were omnivores. They
Mm,
they probably ate everything. They had some big molars in back for grinding uh uh like reeds and
yeah.
brush and stuff. So they probably but they essentially were so big they had a life without enemies, at
Yeah.
least until probably um, a changing world left behind the powerful, slow-moving Entelodont, and it was probably shift in weather that killed them off. But anyway,
Well, if
yeah, I
they
just like,
were also if they were slow moving, there was probably a predator that evolved to be faster
yeah, it
and pack like. You know what? A
probably
pack
did.
a pack predator would probably take
Yeah,
that
something
thing
like
down.
a pack predator would probably take it down. Exactly. That's the type of thing, like the prototypes of wolves and
Yeah.
so forth, and even saber tooths would have
That stuff
been
interests the
around.
hell out of me.
Oh,
That
that's
like the
fascinating stuff.
biological stuff that was before us.
Yes,
That's
yes, and actually one branch of it did break off and became our modern day turfs. Trans exclusionary radical feminists are descendant from one branch of the smaller of groups. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun article. And let's see, but I ran into some other things, some of some hopeful, some not hopeful.
mm.
One of the interesting ones was a thing on the origins of Colonel Sanders.
Ah.
The unbelievable true story of Colonel Sanders, the poor boy who would become king of chicken. And before he was colonel, Sanders sold insurance, tires, and gasoline. He worked on a number of ferries, okay, not homosexuals, so I'm talking about the kinds that operate on rivers, and on farms. Eventually, he stumbled into the fried chicken business and never looked back. It's interesting how he had the skills for the fried chicken business because uh, you know you look at him, the salt white goatee, the gentleman farmer's duds, the slight drawl that
Yeah.
uh, you know all promise the crunch of chicken and finger licking gravy made from 11 herbs and spices, and his name was Harlan David Sanders,
Harlan.
better known as the Colonel
It's a
Sanders.
very southern name.
Oh, very,
Harlan David Sanders. That's
absolutely. And he has restaurants from Halifax to Hanoi.
yeah, that's
He,
yeah.
before he was the grandfatherly colonel, though, he bounced around North America as a steam engine worker,
Hmm.
an insurance man, and a petroleum transfer engineer. which,
Wow.
which is an occupation which I had, meaning he also pumped gas. This is the story of how a farm boy became the colonel and how a gas station greasy spoon blossomed into Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I won't read the whole story, but he was born in 1890 in Henryville, Indiana, and his uh, his father died when he was young. His mother went to work at a cannery, and Sanders became the primary caregivers for his two younger siblings at 7 years old. And so he had to master all the homemaking skills before he was 8, namely cooking and food preparation.
Huh.
So he never held any ill will for how quickly he had to grow up. Okay. He didn't have PTSD from his father dying or anything like that. He thanked his mother for imbuing him with the responsibility, and that later served him extremely well. He said, "We knowed enough not to burn the house down. I don't know why kids are so different today. We was already firmly disciplined. Mama didn't spare the rod if we disobeyed her, and usually we didn't because we knew better. Whatever Mom said went." Okay, so that was the Colonel. So Sanders' mother eventually remarried, and he found himself out of the house around 12 years old when his stepfather turned out to be nothing of the fathering sort. And he won't talk about that, but I expect that the stepfather was no good. Let's just put it that way. Sanders then decided he'd had enough of school in the 7th grade. He said, "When I started class that fall, they had algebra in our arithmetic. Well, I couldn't conceive any part of it. The only thing I got out of it was that x equaled the unknown quantity. And I thought, oh, Lord, if we got to wrestle with this, I'll just leave. I don't care about the unknown quantity."
I feel you, buddy.
So my school days ended right there near Greenwood, Indiana, and algebra is what drove me off. From here, Colonel Harlan Sanders' stories take some turns. He rambled around Indiana doing farm work and put out fires along the railroad in Alabama. He was paid less than $15 a month, but he was given room and board. He worked on steamboat ferries out west and in justice courts in Arkansas, sold insurance, lamps, tires, worked as the secretary to the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. He married a lady named Josephine King at 19, and together they had 3 children. He served in the U.S. military in Cuba for a spell, though not as a colonel, as that title has an entirely different backstory. I think he was a Kentucky colonel, what they call a Kentucky colonel. Anyway, this went on for about 28 years until eventually Sanders found himself face to face with his destiny in Kentucky. Harlan Sanders found himself in possession of a little gas station in Corbin, Kentucky, just off the highway. He began selling leftover meals to hungry travelers, simple meals like he'd made for his younger siblings in Indiana: country ham, string beans, okra, fluffy business, and, wait for it,
Mashed potatoes.
fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Oh.
Sanders' stop
He has
proved
mashed
so
potatoes
lucrative.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, he began to advertise on the highway to draw in travelers in need of a home cooked meal. The restaurant grew day by day as demand ballooned, particularly for his unbeatable chicken. It was around this time, too, in 1935, when the honorary title of colonel was bestowed upon him by Kentucky Governor Ruby Laffoon. Yes,
Laffoon.
Kentucky Governor
Ruby
Ruby
Laffoon.
Laffoon. I'm going to say it again. Kentucky Governor Ruby Laffoon.
Who names their male child Ruby? Because you can damn well bet that that wasn't a female governor.
In 1935, I don't even know what to say about Ruby Laffoon. I'm
That poor man.
and yeah, he's just a balding little old man. All right. Anyway, for his community and his entrepreneurship.
You can be called a colonel for community service and entrepreneurship.
In Kentucky, to be called a colonel, they call them Kentucky colonels. It's kind of like it's sort of like being knighted in a way. It's saying that you're a good citizen. It's like a good citizenship award.
I see.
saying that you've done something important
I see. I
for
was
the
afraid
state.
it was more like an honorary doctorate.
No, 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 no. So anyway, the success of the station drew ire from the competition. Uh, Namely the guy who owned the Standard Oil station across the way. One day, Sanders uh, caught the guy painting over his highway billboard that was advertising his fried chicken,
As
and
so.
uh, and so the other guy was trying to damage the future colonel's business. Sanders threatened to blow his goddamn head off with a shotgun, and but the guy was not deterred and tried to paint the sign over again. And Sanders took a gun out there and started shooting at the guy. One of the representatives at Sanders Station, Robert Gibson, caught a bullet and was killed.
Oh no!
Yes, they were shooting at each other, and Stewart, the guy who was painting over Sanders' sign, faced a sentence of 18 years in prison for the murder. As for Sanders, all charges were dropped after his arrest. With the other game in town permanently shelved, Sanders took advantage of the vacuum and business boomed. The first bona fide Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise opened in Utah in 1952, and thus KFC was founded. He was soon able to close the gas pumps entirely and open an entire 142-seater restaurant. And here he met his second wife, a young waitress in his employment named Claudia. They wed in 1949 after a 2-year affair, which ended in his divorce from his first wife, Josephine.
Oh, dude.
And Josephine, though, later was taken care of. She ended up very rich. Colonel Harlan Sanders may have felt he had already made it, but misfortune was just around the corner. 1950s America saw a myriad of changes. The post-World War II boom also meant an infrastructure boom, which became obvious during the Eisenhower administration with the increased construction of highways. One such highways cut through Sanders' neck of the woods and rerouted traffic 7 miles away from his place. See, he was a one restaurant guy. And basically the new highway took all the business away from his restaurant. So there weren't travelers stopping by anymore. Starved for business. He couldn't even sell the building at a loss. By this time, he'd mastered pressure frying chicken in a pressure cooker, which by this time was still considered a new invention. This was not to mention the 11 herbs and spices, which spoke for themselves. He introduced his methods to other restaurateurs and engaged in small franchise agreements. He was often paid 4 cents for every chicken the restaurant cooked and sold with his process. Yeah, I know. Emboldened by this, he decided to hit the road. If they couldn't get business to come to them, then Sanders decided they would take themselves to the business. And he said, my wife and I slept in the car many nights while we waited for a restaurant to open so we could go in with our sales pitch, Sanders said. Besides, the pressure cooking method was perfect for a mobile operation, as the process not only cooked the food faster, but kept it fresh. And anyway, make a long story short, the road to franchising was not short, but it was fruitful. The same highways that choked them for business brought the colonel a fortune. Sanders would saunter into whichever restaurant he and Claudia happened upon and pitch them for the chicken. If the employees were impressed, they'd make a deal, sell some of the colonel's chicken, and give him a portion of the profit. See, he still thought of himself as a chicken salesman.
Yeah.
He wasn't really thinking of himself as a restaurateur. And he wanted other people to own the restaurants. He just wanted a piece of profit from every chicken sold.
That's not a bad way to do it, though. Like,
absolutely.
Even back then, 4 cents for every chicken sold.
No,
that's a lot of money.
And
it adds up. Like,
he had dark hair. He had naturally dark hair. His hair never actually went white. He had to dye it white. He dyed his hair white. Okay. He got the clothes of a southern plantation
Yeah.
owner type of thing. Okay, indicative of the American South, white cotton suits and string ties and all that nonsense. But he had to dye his hair and his goatee white, especially his goatee. He had a lot of trouble keeping his goatee white.
Hmm.
He and Claudia were kept busy making arrangements with other franchises, keeping their own books and packaging their urban spice recipes. Indeed, the Colonel never did share his secret recipe so that no one could have the exact medley to sell to competitors. And so he and Claudio would package the famed herbs and spices and ship them to other franchises themselves. In many
Huh.
ways, Claudia was actually the secret ingredient to the Colonel's later success, as she said herself. While he was out selling, I was home during doing the work. And in addition to encouraging him to franchise in the first place, she boxed much of the packages shipped to the franchises, wore an antebellum getup to match his planters outfits, and she traveled throughout the world with him to inspect their myriad KFCs. She even opened her own place called Claudia Sanders Dinner House.
Hmm.
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, no. And meanwhile, Sanders was nearing his years, but he's insisted that work don't hurt nobody. Work is wonderful for you. You'll rust out quicker than you'll wear out. I love that. The ethic paid off, and by 1963, he had more than 600 outlets for his chicken in America and Canada, not to mention 400 additional foreign franchises. That was in 1963.
God damn.
Yeah, and it just got bigger and bigger from there. The rest
That,
of the article is just kind of bringing
yeah.
it into the modern world, but it was more of the same. And he and Claudia were very happy. His first wife Josephine got a big piece of the action and had a long and happy life. By the way.
So you want to hear about something that my country is doing that's
Silly.
silly?
Why not?
Because, Canada doesn't do enough silly things.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah. After the stream so far, people might think that America has a patent on silly.
No.
And
Well,
we don't have the market cornered on silly, not by any
no, not
stretch of the
quite.
imagination. So hit me up. What you got?
So this is from Gizmodo.
Yeah.
So it says a Canadian cell carrier is giving free Syrian refugees free cell phones.
What?
So a Canadian cell carrier is giving Syrian refugees free cell phones is the headline of this
Why?
article. So let's find out why. So it says Canada's new Liberal government is committed to bringing 10,000 Syrian refugees to Canada by the end of the year. Fuck Jesus Christ.
Why? Why?
So we can look good.
What do they think that will do?
I don't know. Buy them more votes, maybe?
You know, it's just going to make Canadians hate them.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm afraid I just.
So it says, not long left. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has called for a whole of Canada to integrate 10,000 new Canadians, and one cell carrier is actually responding. Wind
Wow.
Mobile, one of the smaller and cheaper carriers, has promised the basic necessity of mobile communication to all of the Syrian refugees in the Greater Toronto Area in a fairly major way: a free handset and 2 years of free service. Wow.
I know. Just
So
wow.
So the Syrian refugees that are in the GTA, which is Greater Toronto Area, which doesn't just include Toronto, that includes Mississauga and Scarborough and Whitby, and there are way too many smaller tributaries to fucking name.
Man.
Wow. And handset, they don't have cheap little like flippy phones anymore. Like I'm guessing that they're going to be handing out like cheaper versions of iPhones, or like, you know what I mean? Like these are going to
Yeah,
be smartphones.
yeah, they are, because nothing but the best for our refugees, right?
This
That just
is
that's crazy. That is absolutely, you know, uh, uh, what kind of a virtue signaling thing is this?
I'm
What?
glad I don't use Wind Mobile. I would fucking cancel my subscription.
Well, yeah. The other thing is that if you use Wind Mobile, then you are subsidizing this, because
Mhm.
there isn't really any such thing as free.
No.
Sorry to break it to anybody who, you know, I want free college. I just love Ocasio Cortez. I think college should be free. I, it would be so nice if it could be free, you know.
Well, then we're going to have to stop paying the professors
Right, you know,
and
like
the administrative staff.
the birds and the air are free. College could be free. I mean, right? She's such an idiot.
Let me see what the date. I'm just making sure this article is
Real.
not just real, but like new, like not old.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see a date here. There's the author. Oh yeah, that is old. It is an old article, but let's um yeah, no, that's an old article. I got fucking tricked. I'm annoyed.
Well, wait. What do you mean you got tricked? I
It's
don't.
from 2015.
Well, it's still stupid.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's still insane. It's still, the principle holds. Uh, why did they give them free cell phones? And I wonder if they are still free.
That would be an interesting thing to
Let's
find
just
out.
do some quick follow up on this, and let's do some free cell phones for
Because I
immigrants.
know that there are
Canada.
some there's a program in some states, right, for citizens to have um a cell phone with like a hundred or a couple hundred minutes or something like that a month. I think it's Safe Link or something like that. Um,
Okay, let's see. Yes, there is. There a third part of the USF, set to be revamped this week, subsidizes wireless service for poor people. This is in Canada, who can't afford to pay for their cell phone bills. About 18 million people who are eligible for food stamps and Medicaid receive $9.25 a month for cell phone studies through that USF program.
USF.
It's Lifeline. That sounds like United
That's the
States stuff.
United States for sure.
Yeah, that. Oh
Because we
wait,
don't have food stamps up here. We have
no, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. This was. It's confusingly. This thing is under the question: is internet free in Canada? This is one of the answers,
mm,
and unfortunately, it's um, okay. How your cell phone taxes help poor people. So that's in the United States. We subsidize cell phones for the poor.
yeah, but you don't specifically single out immigrants like or
No.
refugees. You don't go, here new people to this country have a free thing.
Mm.
Fuck you, citizens.
Yeah.
Like you subsidize, like it's your citizens that are your, it's your lower income citizens.
Right.
that are getting this benefit. Yes, now I'm not going to deny that you know illegal people or even legal immigrants take advantage of those services, but they're there for everybody. Do you know what I mean? This is like, here, you're a refugee, this is what you get, but the rest of you who have been here forever don't get that benefit.
Yeah. I'm just um the Wireless Code of Canada establishes basic rights for wireless consumers and provides requirements to all wireless service providers. Usually, let's see. All right.
Oh, Pincolo just said there is a company that just started subsidizing cell phones in Ontario. It's called Cricket. I think it's the same company that does it in the States.
Cricket.
I know there is a company called Cricket in the state, like a cell phone.
Yeah. Cricket phones. Cricket phones. KT phone. Yeah. Prepaid. Cricket Wireless. Okay. Free phones for terrorists.
Wait, what?
Free phones for terrorists and free detonators
That's not what it
from Cricket.
says.
I'm just teasing. Um,
Oh man.
it's Here's the thing. It doesn't matter who does it or how they do it. As soon as you say, I want to show my virtue by giving a group of people something for free, quote unquote free,
Yeah.
you're not giving it to them for free. You're selecting another group of people to pay for that free thing.
Yep.
Okay. Government is essentially person A conferring with person B to determine how much of person C's money to give to person D. If you think about it, stripped down to its essentials. That's what our kleptocratic government has become.
Right.
Taxation really is theft. There are many ways for government to fund itself, for it to make money. Taxing its citizens, taking the taking a portion of of the the economic product of its citizens away from its citizens simply because it can is evil. It's
Mm.
just simply evil. We've become so accustomed to the idea of income taxes. We're inured to it. We don't think anything about it. But in
Yep.
point of fact, uh, that money is simply being taken from you. You give it up for no good reason. If you looked at most of if you looked at what most of that money goes for in terms of what it's spent for in the government, you would probably find that you disapproved of at least 50% of how that money is spent. And some of the nonsense that occurs in the government, and a lot of this happens in the military, by the way.
Hmm.
There is so much waste and fraud and abuse in the government and in military in terms of spending, in terms of the way that money is disposed of. It's not even funny. People are always the best arbiters of how of the employment of resources. They are always the best deciders of how scarce resources should be apportioned. No one will ever do as good a job as the human beings who produce that money, as those human beings in terms of determining the disposition of that money.
Makes sense.
The combination of short, medium, and long term interests that are represented in terms of the spending decisions that are made by the people who create that wealth will always reflect a more efficient and saner way to employ the money than what a group of bureaucrats, most of whom have very little experience in the real world other than being in a bureaucracy. The you know People who run governments typically are very sheltered folk,
Hmm.
and they go out and buy experts who quickly learn to game the system, and they say, oh, the name of the game is tell them what they want to hear. And it makes it very hard to it's very hard to direct uh, expenditures appropriately.
Pincala
And
says FW and A is insane at sea. I have no idea what that is.
yeah,
But that's because I don't know naval stuff.
you can get into naval arcana.
um, so speaking of Pincalo, he sent me something that says, it's a story that says Democrats hope that Mueller testimony will have profound impact. Because, they just can't leave it alone. Right? They just can't fucking leave Mueller alone.
Yeah.
I really wish that they would just leave it alone.
It's time.
It's just stop it, people.
Yeah. Stop picking at it, it'll get well.
So it says the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee says he expects special counsel Robert Mueller to have a profound impact when he testifies before Congress on July 17th, even though Mueller has said he won't provide any new information. Mueller's unusual back-to-back testimony in front of the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committee is likely to be the most highly anticipated congressional hearing in years, particularly because of his resolute silence throughout his 2-year investigation into Russian contacts with President Donald Trump's campaign. Because there wasn't any.
And that's what he'll testify. I hope he can put it to bed. The thing is, he despises Trump. People don't realize that he despises Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He would love to speak the words that say, yes, Trump did this bad thing, go get him. Indict the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But he couldn't.
Fraud, waste, and abuse. Oh, okay. So it says, I think that given the nature of what he has to say, given the nature of what was in the report, he will be a very compelling witness. Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler told reporters Wednesday. Throughout his investigation, Mueller never responded to public attacks from or to angry public attacks from Trump, nor did he ever personally join his prosecutors in court or make announcements of criminal charges for the team. His sole public statement came from the Justice Department podium last month as he announced his departure, when he sought to explain his decision not to indict Trump or accuse him of any misconduct. So yeah, this is They're just beating a dead horse.
They are, and they keep hoping that dead horse come back to life, and you know, uh, somehow lead Trump to the jailhouse, but that isn't going to happen. And the Democrats have they have really made fools out of themselves with this. It'll never be recognized because they're in control of the media narrative right now. Except for the part that Fox is in control of. And
Pincalo says he thinks that they're gonna watch that on Lords of the Night tonight. Monkey said something.
going to watch the debate.
Yeah.
That's let's see. Costin says, would Skep stop saying true things? Truth is bad. You're right. Everything is going to be just fine. Everything is just fine. The state has your best interest at heart. The state is kind. The state speaks the truth. Newspeak is good. Right think is good. Susan Wojciechowicz is good. Censorship is good. Slavery is freedom. Freedom is slavery. Pain is pleasure. Pleasure is pain. Feel better? Me too.
So the article continues to say that Mueller said he was not eager to testify and would just reiterate what he put in his report if he were called to. It says, we chose those words carefully and the work speaks for itself, he said on May 29th. I would not provide any information beyond... I would not provide information beyond what is already public in any appearance before Congress. So those remarks did little to settle the demand for his testimony. The two committees continued negotiations that had already been going on for weeks, saying that they still wanted to hear from him, Mueller, no matter how reluctant he was.
Jeez.
Ugh. The committees announced Tuesday that he finally agreed to come under subpoena and that they had issued the subpoenas that day. Are you
sure? They had to subpoena him.
So I think the words, using the words agreeing to subpoena somebody, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think they called him up and was like, Mr. Mueller, sir, would it be all right? Would it be all right if we subpoenaed you instead?
Right.
That totally. And then he would be like, why, yes, I don't know why you didn't do that in the first place. Like, that is the weirdest way of putting that. Agreed to testify by subpoena.
It's like it's such an egregious lie. Wait, I'm reading something in chat. Maddie is saying Castro was benevolent. Okay, I can't send it without rolling my eyes, but there you go. Rick Prostate got my Wojciechowicz reference to Barney Miller. Thank you. Let's see.
I like pain, says Goatman.
All right, Maddie said, he said if called to testify, he would only reiterate what he put in the report. This was not going to be anything new. Yeah, that's what I understood also, Maddie.
Yeah.
And
remember the Star Trek stream where BP and Skep pressured Irate to join the hangout just on based on a Romulan clip? Yes.
Yeah. We have some good times, don't we?
Because that's what we do.
That's right. That's what we do. That's exactly right. Oh, my God. Pray for me. I have my gum surgery tomorrow.
Oh, dude.
Fucking shit.
Are you gonna be able to go on Prospero's
Oh yeah,
show tomorrow?
it should be jolly because I'm gonna have a mouth packed with, packing. Although actually it may be out by the time the stream starts,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be high as a fucking kite on Vicodin because they'll give me Vicodin for this stuff, I guarantee you. And so I should be a jolly little skep for Prospero's show. It'll be a very different show than the show tonight.
Mhm.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm generally pretty jolly. I kind of have a gallows humor going on, and um, we'll see. I just want to get rid of this headache.
Mm,
Yeah, I've now had a headache. Let me tell you, old age is not for pussies. I've now had a headache for 2 months
that sucks.
because I've been waiting to see, or 6 weeks anyway, because I've been waiting to see my dentist,
Yeah.
and because I had that tooth come apart, and it came apart below the gum line. It's freaking bothering me. I can't wait to get this done.
Is it causing you the headaches?
Yeah, that's what's causing the
Yeah.
headaches. So it's and she said, I talked to her earlier this week. She said, hang in there, just a little bit longer, and you'll feel better.
Yeah, my wisdom teeth gave me ear problems before they were out.
Did it feel like you like having a really bad ear
Yeah.
infection? Yeah, that's uh, kind of. This feels like having a sinus infection. It feels just like there's a knife being inserted into my
Irate
nose.
says call and confirm that the team is there. Yeah, no
No
shit.
kidding. No fucking shit.
Oh man,
It.
I felt so bad for you last Monday because
I
like
was I
I
was
had to drive there and be like, oh no, sorry, we have to cancel your surgery. Like
drive
no.
42 miles in rush hour traffic. It
Oh,
took 2 hours to get there. I'm hurting. I get there walking. Oh, you're gonna have to put it off. The first opening we have is a week from Thursday. So anyway, um, it's yeah, it's a first world problem. It's a for thank you. All right, love you, man. It's a first world problem. I'm grateful that I can get it taken care of. Back in the old days, it would have been a trusted relative and a pair of pliers and a bottle of whiskey. So, we'll get this done.
so I have another story from Pincalo.
Oh, yay!
It says Wayfair employees, which is a furniture like Wayfair or Wayfair. Let me check the spelling of this.
Wayfair. It's Wayfair.
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 Yeah.
Yes,
So
because I thought the
Wayfair
wall.
employees plan walkout to oppose furniture sales to migrant detention facilities.
And this makes sense because why?
I don't know. Let's see what they have to say here. It says employees of the Boston-based online housewares giant Wayfair announced Tuesday that they would stage a walkout if the company's Back Bay offices Wednesday. Oh, that's a picture. Oops, sorry, I was reading the caption. So it says last Wednesday they learned that a $200,000 order of bedroom furniture had been placed by BCFS, a government contractor that has been managing um, what is it said here? 200,000 because they have been managing camps at the border. More than 500 employees signed a letter of protest sent to company executives. When the company refused to change course, employees organized a walkout. So they're mad that the government has contracted for actual beds
Right. Because they
An
want the
actual.
children to sleep on the floors like they're doing now.
So they're pissed off that they want an American company, first of all.
Yeah.
They're buying American made furniture.
Right.
And they are angry that the government is paying for beds and like dressers and stuff, and like places for storing clothes, places to sleep on. Like, this is a problem for you,
Mm-hmm.
people?
They don't want. They don't want anything to go Trump's way.
No.
And what this will do, in their opinion, is it will alleviate the uh, uh, situation, the horror show that those camps have turned into. Because what they want is they want those people released into the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And what Trump wants to do is say, no, they're illegal. We've got to keep them here, and we need stuff so that we can provide for them. And so the uh, logic is that by starving these people and hurting, by not providing them the things that they need, it will get so bad, especially once people start to die, they can blame Trump for the death, even though they will be the ones who actually caused the death.
Yep.
But they'll say, well, no, Trump really did because he insisted on keeping them there. All we did was make sure that they died.
Pincalo's got a great point. He says Wayfair needs to fire every employee that walks out and then replace them with immigrants to shut them up and show them what they're talking about and what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really should.
Unfortunately, if it's a Boston company, that's just not the way Boston works right now. It's a very liberal town.
Yeah.
Very liberal town. So, hey, can you read chat for a couple minutes?
Yep.
Excuse myself. I'll be right back.
No worries.
And you can say hello to Maddie and some of those good folks I rate.
Yep.
Talk to them for a sec. I'll be right back. 2 seconds, okay?
Yeah, they are protesting the fact, or the filling of the order and the fact that the camps exist. Yeah, but it's still stupid. Sheogrith says at half their previous wages. Yeah. So this continues on to say, knowing what's going on at the southern border and knowing that Wayfair has the potential to profit from it is pretty scary, said Elizabeth Good, a manager on the engineering team at the company and one of the walkout's 24 organizers. I want to work at a company where the standards that we hold ourselves to are the same standards that we hold our customers and our partners to. Okay, so you want them to just give away $200,000 worth of furniture? Yep, blind press in one ear, cog stream in the other. Oh, thanks, dude. Skep versus Irate, who has the largest prostate. Oh man. You guys are too funny. So it says the politically motivated action is taking place at one of Boston's fastest growing companies, which employs more than 14,000 people globally and processes more than 100,000 orders a day. Holy fuck. That's a lot of furniture. It took in revenue of $6.8 billion in 2018. The Trump administration has made stopping illegal immigration a signature issue and has been holding thousands of foreign citizens who have been crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in detention centers. Several facilities are now dangerously crowded, with children living in squalid conditions. Well, then maybe their parents should stop crossing the goddamn border illegally then. Fuck, that pisses me off.
Who's crossing the border illegally? As if I didn't know.
All of these illegal immigrants who are in the detention centers and their children are now living in squalor.
But they have to cross the border.
Why are there magnets in their noses that are drawing them to the U.S. and then they like turn off as soon as they get there?
No, but we have more stuff than they do, and all people in the world have to have exactly the same amount of stuff. Elon Musk should not have one more nickel than the lowest Somalian immigrant. Everyone must be equal. Don't you understand?
No,
Because reasons. Did you
but
forget reasons?
I'm a contrarious, a contrarious.
A
Wow,
contrarious.
Jesus
I like
Christ!
that.
I
You
am,
know, let's be
I am
contrarious.
I am a contrary rebel. Wow, what the hell is a contrarious?
We are contrarists here on the coffee stream. Uh, uh, yeah, that's, but that's the implication, is that all outcomes must be the same. Literally, that Elon Musk, he can invent and make all the wonderful, amazing, uh,
And be really smart.
be really smart and make all the amazing uh, uh, achievements that he wants. But that's his reward, is to make those achievements. He should not get one more dime than than somebody who prefers not to work and wants to stay home and play games all day. What give me give me one good reason why there should be any difference in their outcome in terms of income and opportunity. Exactly. You can't, can you?
Because they're not doing anything.
Exactly. They're not didn't do nothing. And so, he's a fucking white male.
Not
A
he's fucking a
fucking
white male,
No, he's
but
a fucking white male. And
oh,
so he doesn't get to have the nice little bonbons that he has been handed his entire life. Okay. Bill Gates doesn't get the little bonbons that he's been handed his entire life. Larry Ellison, all these guys, Steve Jobs, they don't get the the handout that they've all been getting. Now it's time for other people to get the handout, and everybody is going to get the same handout for a change. So, because
despite the fact that people like Steve Jobs' family will tell you that they were never fucking there because they were always
that
working.
that was his choice to do that. He could choose whatever he wants, and whether he chooses to be at work and working hard or be at home playing the game, he should have the uh, reassurance that he's going to get the same amount of money no matter what. Okay, he's going to be taken care of. The state is going to say he needs this amount of money, and he will be given that amount of money, his needs being determined by the state, so that he can stay home and play his games and be fed a nutritious meal selected for him by the state. What's wrong with that life? There's nothing wrong with that life.
See, and I don't even agree with that life, and I received disability from the state.
Yeah, exactly, citizen. You're beginning to get on board. That's what the socialists and the communists want, is that uh, the innovator who invents the rocket ship gets exactly the same amount of money per month and eats the same food as the man who digs the ditch. It's all the same, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. It's a beautiful way to live. That is what Alexandria Ocasio Cortez wants. That is what Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib wants. That's what Bernie Sanders wants. That's what Joe Biden wants. They want from you according to your ability, and they want to give to people according to their need.
No, thank you.
Well, it's a very compassionate way, you know, to live. It's a way of taking one person's effort and handing the fruits of it over to another person. It's person A conferring with person B to decide how much of person C's effort and ability and industry and wealth to apportion to person D.
And look at that, we've come full circle.
Voila. It's it really is nothing more than that. And if you if you feel like uh, person C should be able to decide what person C should do with person C's money, the person C actually has a right to own the money that they've produced. That if they produce something, they can own something. There is a concept of personal ownership, and that's what Ocasio Cortez, seriously, legitimately, she wants to get rid of is the idea of personal ownership.
Yep.
She only wants to have community ownership, and communism.
Yeah.
That's there's a reason they call it communism. She literally wants to, imagine there's no possessions, like the song by John Lennon. It's easy if you try. It's an easy thing to imagine. It's a hard thing to make work because people work hard and they'd like to have some reward for that hard work. And if there's some additional reward lurking down there, they'll even work harder. But if there's not, then you get these uh, stultified, uh, sclerotic state agencies that sort of don't move over time, and they become petrified.
And that's probably why we have a lot more mental health issues now, honestly, than we used to.
Wait, what are you tying that to? I'm not sure I quite
Like
understand what you're
the
saying.
fact that we are so stuck right now.
Uh huh.
The fact that mm, uh, as that we have it honestly easier right now. Um, than things used to be.
That's a fair statement.
Um, I think that's why we get more depression, more anxiety. I'm not saying, the major mental health, like the schizophrenia, stuff like that, is increasing. I'm saying that I'm thinking the more mood disorders we're coming across now because we've got less to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, we're interested in other things. Um, we're not as focused on you know important things like uh, making enough food to keep a roof over our heads or keep our houses warm, keep our children fed. We've
Yeah.
got we've got all that stuff knocked. We
Yeah,
just
we don't have to cut firewood anymore.
right,
We
exactly,
don't have to hunt anymore. We like hunting is now a want.
right. I want to a
Yeah.
nice it's a diversion,
Yeah. It is a sport now.
not a necessity.
It's not a need
Right,
anymore.
right.
Same with fishing. It's a sport now. It's not, if we don't catch any fish, we're going to be really hungry.
Well, that
you
that
know?
that's the truth. There was a time when people, they caught their dinner. If you didn't catch any fish, you weren't going to have any dinner.
Yeah.
That was the way things were, and we're very fortunate that things aren't that way. But it sure has had the effect of taking our eye off the ball. And
And then you get things like people where you found out about that school shooting that you had mentioned to me on
oh yeah,
before.
oh my gosh,
That's a completely mental health just gone wrong.
that the Colorado school shooting. That was half a mile, literally half a mile from my apartment that I lived in South Denver for 2 years. I lived over by Highlands Ranch. That was where the Lucent and Avaya buildings were uh, back in 2000, 2001 when I lived over there.
And when did this shooting happen again? This was
May
recent.
May 7th, 2019.
Okay.
And one of
Yeah, I
two
knew
high
this was.
school students accused of opening fire at the STEM school, Highlands Ranch near Denver, and the one that killed the 18-year-old who actually did stop the gunman. Uh, let's see, one of those two high school students who has been accused of opening fire allegedly told police he targeted students who made fun of his gender identity and had been planning the shooting for a few weeks. So he's trans.
Mhm.
He started out life as a woman and wanted to become a man. And so court documents released Thursday shed new details on that shooting that killed Kendrick Castillo, 18, who has been called a hero for acting with others to stop one of the shooters at the STEM school. And Devin Alexander, 18, and Alec McKinney, the trans person, who, according to the documents, told police he was transitioning and whose attorney says prefers male pronouns, has been charged with more than 40 counts, including murder and attempted murder. Prosecutors have said both are being tried as adults.
Good.
Probable cause documents released Thursday are redacted and include only Erickson's name, but officials have said that Erickson and McKinney are the only two people charged in the shooting. So it's definitely these two guys.
Yeah.
The documents say the suspect in interviews with police said he wanted the kids at the school to experience bad things, to have to suffer from trauma like he has had to in his life, that he wanted everyone in that school to suffer and realize that the world is a bad place. That suspect allegedly said he got Erickson involved in the plan. He also told police that students were targeted and that they made fun of him, called him names, and said he was disgusting for trying to be a guy, as well as referring to him as a she, according to probable cause documents. McKinney has been charged as an adult, and his attorneys have said they plan to ask a judge to move the case to juvenile court. The Associated Press reported neither suspect has entered a plea. Blah, 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 blah. There's a picture of Devin Michael Erickson at the as he appears at the Douglas County Courthouse. I can't help but notice that he has a mass of purple hair.
Of course.
And judge sealed both court records after their initial court appearances, and they're under a gag order. Let's see. Both suspects allegedly told police they talked on Snapchat the night before the shooting. Erickson told police the other suspect said he was suicidal and wanted revenge. Both suspects allegedly told police that they went to Erickson's home during lunch and broke into a parent's gun safe with an axe and crowbar and got 3 handguns and rifle, as well as ammunition and magazines from the safe. They both took cocaine, although Erickson said he was threatened into doing so, according to the documents. They allegedly put the guns in a guitar case and a backpack and went back to the school. The accounts of the two suspects in the probable cause documents differ, including who had which guns and where they were kept. Erickson told police he pulled out the Glock handgun out of the guitar case and told everyone to get down, that the gun went off when he was rushed by 2 students in the classroom, and that he surrendered the gun and heard more shooting and yelling, according to the documents. He also claimed that he pulled out the gun after seeing the other suspect go for his gun, and that after being taken down, he tried to warn people, yeah, my ass, fuck you. I tried to warn people, even though I pulled a gun and was going to shoot them.
Yeah. No.
Once I was pinned down by people who were actually heroically trying to prevent me from killing them, I tried to warn people.
Yeah.
The other
Fuck
suspect told
off.
police, yeah, right, exactly. The other suspect told police that Erickson pulled the magnetic strip and shut the door to prevent it from being opened from the outside. Then they both pulled out their guns and said, "Nobody move." He said he believes that Erickson shot first. The other suspect claimed that he then, it's so funny, turning on each other,
Who
started
shot
shooting
first?
his own two handguns and was tackled by students and a teacher, but got away and grabbed a third handgun from his backpack and fled with the intention of killing himself, but couldn't work the gun's safety,
Oh
according to
my
the
god.
documents. Now, you know, I've worked with safeties on handguns a lot. They're not really very tricky if you're motivated to kill yourself, and the safety isn't going to prevent you.
I'm pretty sure I could figure it out.
Yeah,
And I can't even see it.
one way it's the gun is safe, one way the gun is not safe. That suspect was confronted by an armed guard and was ordered to the ground and taken into custody. Erickson was being held down by another student who had been shot in the leg and was arrested. According to the documents, police found a rifle in a guitar case nearby. Police documents released Thursday also alleged that a security guard at the school, who has not been identified, fired a shot that wounded a female student in another room. The security guard said he saw a muzzle coming around the corner, according to the documents. Robert Burke, attorney for the unnamed guard, said he had no comment. Let's see, the private security guard is under investigation, and
For being a supremely bad shot.
well, yeah, I mean, he was trying to do his job.
Yeah.
In fairness, um, it just take them out back and just kill them both. What
Yeah.
value do either of these guys will either of these guys ever have to the world? I know we can't.
That Erickson guy's a follower for sure.
Oh yeah, he very definitely, and the other guy is a lunatic.
Yep.
Uh, you know, I want other people to see how hard it is to be trans. So I'm going to shoot
kill
them.
them.
Right.
Yeah. Brilliant deduction. Because
He's
death. Are you telling me that death is the same as being trans? Because that's pretty self-hating there, my dude.
Yeah, because if you're equating death with being trans and you're trans, let's just close that loop.
Like, I know a lot of people, like we both do, who are trans.
Yes, we do.
and of course they have their struggles and whatever, but
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that they would not equate death with
No.
with being trans. I'm pretty sure that whatever struggles they're going through, that they are at least coming to terms with and getting to the point where they can be happy with being trans.
No, that's right.
Instead of going, I was made fun of, and I want people to be dead so that they wouldn't know what it's like to be trans. What?
Right.
Dead? You want people to be dead so they know what it's like to be trans. So you're saying that being trans is the equivalent to being dead.
I'm sure many of us have had someone, a close friend or a relative, commit suicide.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that is a selfish act and it lasts. There is not a day of my life when I don't think of a certain someone, a certain friend of mine who killed himself, one of my dearest friends.
Mm.
And he hurt so many people when he, foolishly took his own life, thinking that nobody cared about him. So, don't equate anything. I kid around a lot. I throw around killing people and cannibalism and stuff like that. I say it to be outrageous. I say it
Yeah.
for fun. don't be confused. I have a great respect for human life.
Yeah.
I have lost some people either through illness, through war, and through suicide. Three very close people. People who, you know, just good people, good friends. Uh, One of them, my son in law, that uh, I don't get confused about how selfish an act suicide is. Death
Yeah.
is really permanent.
Yeah.
And for the people who will miss you, it hurts them every day of your life. Two of the people I lost, my Marine friend who died in the barracks bombing in Lebanon,
Yeah.
and my son in law who died from cancer. There's there wasn't anything I could do about either one of those.
No.
Uh, you just That's just life, that happens. But the one who killed himself, the one who was had 4 years of sobriety in AA and went on a 13-day bender, and at the end of it was so disgusted with himself he put a gun in his mouth and blew his head off. You know, that was uh, a brilliant guy
Yeah.
who removed himself from the world. That was a guy who had two young children, two children who were about 12 and 13 years old, or 11 and 12 years old. I can't remember at the time it happened. And they're just gone.
Yeah.
Just, they were devastated by this. You can't believe what that does. You know, have respect for life. Have real respect for life. Death is permanent.
That's why I had a real plan shortly after my stepdad left. I was only 13. But I couldn't deal with
Do yourself in.
I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with how sad my mom was. I couldn't deal with how she was translating her sadness into anger towards me. I couldn't deal with how I was upset and how sad I was that he had left. And then I came home from school and my sister just came running for me, and she was Logan's age. Or just actually she was younger than Logan.
Mm.
And she just came running for me and called my name and threw her arms around me, and I'm like, can't. I can't. I said it hurts for me what's going on, but it would hurt way more for her and mom
Yep.
if I went through with this.
It's easy to have a blind spot about that, though.
Yeah.
And that's what my friend Ron. It's funny. It actually hurts to say his name, but that's what my friend didn't realize was how bad it would hurt the people left behind. He hated himself so much for what he did, for what he felt like was his own failure.
It's hard to see past that. Like
Oh yeah.
depression is, like I said in Lords of the Night chat last night, because they started out talking about Etika. And this is where I was doing a lot of thinking about, where I was when I was younger and how depressed I was. Um, and I said in Lords of the Night chat last night, depression is an ugly, ugly whore. It makes you think ridiculous things, um, completely irrational things, completely illogical things.
Yep.
And it's like your brain has been cleaved in two, and there's one part of your brain that's being absolutely insane, and there's the other part of your brain that's watching you go in this loop going, okay, can you stop now?
Right.
No?
Please,
How
for
about
God's sake.
now? Yeah, it's just, and it's,
I thought of it again. I
yeah,
thought of it again. I
yeah,
thought of it again.
exactly. It's, oh my God. And you gotta keep remembering that no matter how much you may hurt, you gotta realize that you it will be nothing compared to what you will cause
Yes,
the
exactly.
people around you.
Exactly. Exactly. Life will remove you in good order. You know, at some point it will be your time to go, and people will still miss you. But at least it won't be something that you selfishly inflicted on them. It will be something that was unavoidable.
Yeah.
Let it be that. It's much kinder, to the people you leave behind.
Irate has a good point. He says it's not really the people that make overtures of false suicide. It's the people who don't verbalize their internal dialogue. Yep.
Yep. Irate has a lot of really good insights into into things like that. He's got a lot of experience counseling people
Yeah.
in bad situations like that. It's kind of an amazing history. A very interesting man to talk to about that stuff. I mean, all of us who have spent a while in AA uh, we've sponsored people, and if you've got any time in sobriety at all, you've spent some time helping people. But Irate's done it on a professional basis, and has some extremely interesting and good insights. Really, a wealth of information and experience worth listening to. He's in addition to being a great guy. So,
Jolly Rogers Bilgewater says, old fart wisdom is best wisdom.
well, there.
It's experience, dude. It's experience is, see, and that's why, no matter how crazy my mother drives me and how left wing she's gotten and how we, had a horrible time when I was a teenager, she always let me learn by experience. And I think that's the best way to, like, obviously you're not going to let your kid run into the street and experience them getting hit by a car, right? But the lessons that are teachable through experience, she was able to um let me go and experience them, whether it was, learning that the person she told me, this person's a bad person. I really advise that you not be their friend, but this is what you're going to do. This is what I think about them. And then, a few months or maybe even a couple of years, because I'm just loyal to a fault later, I would go, Mom, so and so is horrible and blah, blah, blah. And she, yeah, I know, I told you.
Yep. It's
It's
sometimes you can see that we've both run into that recently. Mentioning no names,
mm-hmm.
uh, where you can take one person's side or you can take the other person's side, but eventually the cream rises to the top, and you see who is the person who's worth befriending, and who is the uh, person who's going to continue to let you down, and eventually will get to you, will be an asshole to you too.
Mm.
And uh, avoid those people. No. Uh,
Goatman says my parents let me and my brother play touch tag on the 401. What the fuck? The 401 is a highway up in
yeah,
Canada, in Ontario.
yeah,
It's well then, Goatman.
yeah. It's a different time. You can't really you can't play tag on the freeways around Fort Worth anymore. In here in Texas,
There are people bringing around petitions to stop kids from playing street hockey.
on the freeway.
Well, no, just on side streets. Thank God, still most Canadian parents go fuck off. This is Canada. My kids are gonna play street hockey. But still,
Touch tag on the 401. Interesting. Irate says, Goatman, you aren't from the UAE, are you? United Arab Emirates.
mm,
Interesting. Jolly Roger was talking about there was a time in my life when I nearly brushed my teeth with a 357. I understand that being a euphemism for
yeah,
committing suicide. And he says, I'm a backward heads case, though. Hate got me out of the suicide depression, not love. Whatever works, I guess.
yeah.
You know, it. Sometimes you just need something to interrupt a negative thought process, and you know, if hate is what turns the lights on for you, uh, to where you can see your way to a path out of there, then you know, whatever works works. Sure prefer it when it's love or happiness or interest in something. You know, one thing I've noticed is that something that I've seen work again and again in the successful people who successfully gotten past an alcohol addiction or addiction to other drugs, is developing an interest in something larger than themselves, something other than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin to see a subtle change come over that person. They don't use the word I so very much. And you notice that they actually do develop a legitimate interest in other people. They ask people about how are they doing? What are they doing? And the interest is real and you can feel it. You can feel that change happen. I've only seen that a few times, but I have seen it happen. It's one of those things that makes me hold out hope for almost anybody that change is out there. It's not that people don't ever change. It's just change is really hard to affect, and it's uh, it's complicated how it works. But boy, when it works, there's nothing quite like it. It's pretty wonderful.
Hmm.
So, just one man's opinion, of course.
And holy crap, look at that. It's been 2 hours.
You have spent another 2 hours of your life with a Texan and a Canadian who
And if you like this Texan and Canadian duo, you can join us and a few other people tonight at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central on the millions of the zoo. Wow.
the millions of
Minions.
we
The
have
minions of the zoo.
a link in the description.
It is in the description, yes. And I'd like to thank my buddy Skep for joining me. His YouTube channel link is also in the description, as
Thank
well
you,
as
Ron.
his Twitter link. Um, and tomorrow is my short day. Trying to decide if I should do an hour of news or if you guys would like an hour of gaming before I go. It would still be a coffee stream. But it would just have the hashtag beat the blind girl in it as well. Um,
Let her know.
Trying to figure it out. Irate says, um, oh, Irate says I may be on two or Uzi or both.
Oh yeah, DM me, bud.
And Irate said that he's going to be on Ghost Poo, I think, tonight.
Ah, very good. You're gonna be a busy boy.
When says check your logic tomorrow. The short days is always at 11:30, from 11:30 to 12:30 on Thursdays. And then Friday, because it's the end of the month, is call-in day, and hopefully Alex will not be upset this time, and we can do a full 2 hours.
Hooray!
Yes.
That would be good. So
Yeah.
we'll have some fun with that. I'm sure I'll be there, and I'll bet we'll have some of the regulars.
Yeah.
So you get to hear some different voices.
It'll be fun.
It will. It always is fun. Thanks for having me on. This has been a great one today. I'll be in much happier shape because I'll still be on narcotics and be risen from my bed of pain on Friday. So, but anyway, catch us tonight on Minions, and this has been a blast. Thanks for having me.
Has. No worries, my
Let's do it
friend.
again next Wednesday.
Absolutely, guys. And I will see everyone later. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.